Hello? I'm not quite as tall as some people on the ballot. All right. Hello, everyone. It's good to be in Brooklyn, isn't it? Excellent. Well, thank you all for being here. What a great group. I want to especially thank my son Theo and wife Liz. And I got to tell you, when you run a marathon and you come in at the tape, it's a great feeling, especially when you're then told, turn around and do it again. So that's what we're going to be doing. And it really was an amazing come-from-behind run. Together, everyone here, the great group we built across the city, got us into the runoff. So thank you very much. And you know, it's all about getting results for New Yorkers who don't have high-powered lobbyists and making a better city for everyone. That's exactly what I've always done. I was elected to the state senate against a 30-year incumbent to campaign for change, promising more and better results across my district. And I forced the Bloomberg administration to stop charging rent to families in homeless shelters. I wrote landmark new gun laws banning military-style assault weapons, like the one used in Newtown. I secured $75 million a year for New York City public housing when it was going bankrupt. And now, with all of you, I have a plan to make the Public Advocate's Office essential for New Yorkers who need results. Those without a voice, without high-powered lobbyists, without City Hall on speed dial, people who have no place else to turn. Their families, all of us, need a strong, effective public advocate. A 16-month-old boy shot dead just a couple of weeks ago on the streets of Brownsville. A 21-year-old transgender woman beaten and killed on the streets of Harlem. Their families need a strong, effective public advocate. 4,000 New Yorkers in adult homes facing a major transition. 12,000 kids in foster care. 14,000 people in city jail. 51,000 of our brothers and sisters who went to bed homeless last night, 21,000 of them kids. Every New Yorker who's ever been fed up with trains or schools or fines with no place else to turn. That's who needs a strong, effective public advocate. That's what this campaign is all about. Fighting and delivering results for New Yorkers who need them most. And that message has resonated. It's the reason we're in the runoff today. It's the reason we have this incredibly strong showing of support here. And it started with some great elected officials and built all the way from the grassroots, from borough to borough to borough to borough to borough. And now, the key is, we have 2.5 weeks to get every single vote out. October 1st is the runoff, and the more New Yorkers who have their voices heard on October 1st, the better chance we will have a public advocate who is able to get results in this city. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is the fun part. As soon as we're done here, we're going to fan out across the borough, on the phones, across the city, starting to engage voters in exactly what we're talking about to get ready for October 1st. But before we do that, I really do want to acknowledge the extraordinarily diverse, broad group of elected officials and leaders who have supported us from the beginning, and frankly, without whom we never would have gotten here. First, I want to thank former public advocate Mark Green, who brought his beer with him today. I'll go through the list. Senator Adriano Espaillat, Senator Jose Serrano, Senator Michael Guimaraes, Senator Gustavo Rivera, Senator Brad Hoylman, my Assembly member, who I look forward to voting for next year, and I did last year, Assemblymember Joan Millman, Assemblymember Gabriela Rosa, we spent most of the day together, Assemblymember Jeff Dinowitz, one of the first people I ever voted for, Assemblymember Michael Benedetto, Assemblymember Michael Cusick, Assemblymember Alec Brooke Krasny, Assemblymember Brian Kavanaugh, Councilmember Jimmy Vaca. And we also today have representatives from Borough President Markowitz's office, Senator Peralta's office. We have community leaders from Community Board 1 and 2 in Brooklyn and Manhattan and Brooklyn, Community Board 3 in Manhattan. We have district leaders Jenny Lamb-Lowe, Alice Gansell, and we are, as always, represented by the great support from the Hotel Trades Council and the Freelancers Union. Let's hear it for them. I acknowledged them before, they won't be speaking today because nap time is fast approaching, but the truth is, the most important people in this campaign and in my life, much more importantly, are my son Theo and wife Liz, who have been there every step of the way, and on Tuesday night said, all right, let's do another 3 weeks of this. And as a couple of my colleagues representing the broad and deep coalition we have to speak, first, State Senator Jose Serrano.
Privilege to stand here with all of my colleagues and with my good friend Dan Squadron as we prepare for what will be a tremendous runoff. We will see him get elected and do great things for this community. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of serving in the state senate with Dan, and on every issue, from public housing to education to getting illegal guns off our streets, Dan has taken the position of the community. He's been the person who has stood up for those who are most marginalized, those who are oftentimes feel left out of the process because they don't have the wealth, they don't have the resources. But we have seen the seeds long ago of what will make a great public advocate in Dan Squadron. So I have every confidence that he will be a tremendous elected official in that office, and I look forward to helping him with all of my colleagues to get this done on October 1st. Thank you.
Just to my north, he's just gotten into the state senate, but he's already had an enormous impact. State Senator Brad Hoylman, whose daughter is just a couple of months older than my son.
Feeling that really Daniel Squadron is the right person to be our next public advocate. You know, I've worked for Daniel only a short time, but for many years before that in local community affairs, and I think this growing coalition is evidence of Daniel's deep roots in every borough in the city of New York. And you know, Daniel, it's an honor to be here. You've done so much for the LGBT community, to promote folks who don't have rights in the transgender community, to make certain that they do, and I wanted to thank you for that. And I also wanted to say what a great feeling it is to be part of a growing group of people supporting Daniel Squadron. Remember, Daniel, that I was on the ground level, but it's so great, and I'm really looking forward to victory in the next 2.5 weeks.
Thank you. No, exactly, whatever that is. And now, someone who's become a fast friend. As I said, we spent most of the day together, her advice and her leadership in our community, and much more broadly. Another new member of the elected official group, but another one who's had a huge impact, Assemblymember Gabriela.
I just want to join the sentiment of my colleagues, and I am so proud to stand here with Dan, and just to let you know that as a woman, as an immigrant, as a mother, I really empathize with Dan's agenda as a public advocate. I think that the fact that one of the best public advocates, Mr. Mark Green, endorsed him means a lot. Someone that was already in that job saw that Dan is the person to fulfill that vacancy. I truly believe in that. And from Washington Heights, Inwood and Marble Hill, from all my Dominican sisters and brothers and everybody in my district, make sure that we're going to make this dream a reality. We need Daniel Squadron as our next public advocate, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing on October 1st.
The first person who ever represented me after I was a voting age in the State Assembly, who is still a great leader, both in the Bronx and across the city, and has also become a good friend, Assemblymember Jeffrey Nichols.
I don't get to Brooklyn very often. But I came here today because I know that standing here in support of Dan Squadron for Public Advocate is very important for our city. If you look at the job description for Public Advocate, it could have been written by Dan Squadron. If you look at what he's done, this is the perfect job for him. He's an activist, he's a doer, he's a reformer. His record in Albany as a leader of reform, for ethics reform, his leadership on the gun control issue was extremely important in passing major legislation this year. And his record in his district, most importantly, his leadership last year after Hurricane Sandy is just one example of the type of hard work that he has done over the years in the state Senate. And as public advocate, he is going to be even better. So I'm very proud to stand here with all of my colleagues around the city, particularly my Bronx colleagues, in support of Dan Squadron. And we are going to be working very hard on October 1st to help elect him as our next public advocate.
Now the person I most recently voted for, who has been such a great partner. You know, together we have pushed forward and taken on what has been years of leadership on your part to get Brooklyn Bridge Park built more quickly and even better. Together, after Sandy, we worked with affected businesses on the Brooklyn part of my district that we share. Together, we have taken on pollution in the Gowanus Canal, and someone from whom I've learned so much and continue to partner with and whose support I'm so honored to have, Assemblymember Joan Hill.
You know, I'd like to first of all welcome all my colleagues from every borough who are standing behind me and alongside me to my district, to Dan's district, the 52nd in Brooklyn. Anytime you want to come to Brooklyn, you're more than welcome. But I want to talk to you about Dan Squadron. You know, when Dan was first elected, the Senate was controlled by Democrats, so it was a much easier process for Dan to get lots of good legislation passed. But Dan showed his true colors when the Senate was no longer controlled by Democrats, but by Republicans. And even then, he was able to cross the aisle and work together with other people of a different party and get major legislation passed. That's a true sign of a true leader, to be able to do that consistently. Now, Dan and I have been partners in lots of local issues. I want to focus on two of them. We've been working alongside lots of others to make sure that we keep our local hospital, Long Island College Hospital. Every step of the way, because that's something that our community needs. We need our community hospital. And another issue that's very important to us in downtown is keeping our Brooklyn libraries public libraries and not private libraries. Find a funding stream so that the city administration, even the dog agrees with that. That the funding stream stays so we can keep our libraries open and useful. In times of a bad economy, our libraries provide the services to people who don't have access otherwise. And that's something that we're going to continue to work on together. October 1st is not long from now. So we need to not only do today, but every single day leading up to that. So we'll be back on the steps of this Borough Hall and that Borough Hall, which I don't see very often, but that other Borough Hall to congratulate our state senator on a job well done, so he can then service all of the people in the entire city of New York and show them what the public advocate's role can really be. Thank you.
Get to volunteering because I think everyone here is convinced. So we're going to do just one more speaker. I want to acknowledge some of the other community leaders who are here today. Former District Leader Virginia Key. I saw Rabbi David Niederman, Isaac Sofer, Moshe Indig, and any others I see. Good to see you. Don West from the 7th Precinct Community Council. So forgive anyone else who I have left out. Personal capacity only. Brooklyn Community Board 6 as well represented. And with that, I'd like to call up the man who originated this office and who I think we system that we now have in place in the city, which I've been so proud to be an enthusiastic part of, whether it's the Citizens Complaint Review Board or so much else. Mark Green.
grew a beard to unsuccessfully look like our candidate. Are you all in? Yeah. I don't see much sacrifice by you. Why has the New York Times and Senator Chuck Schumer and all of Dan's colleagues on the stage and the first and second public advocates, myself and Betsy Gotbaum, all united behind Dan? The answer is that he is smart, dedicated, tough, and he takes on the big guys on behalf of average families. That's not just a slogan. Now, what I don't know is Phil of encyclopedia. But I do know the Office of Public Advocate. It's true its budget is small. It's false that its power is small. The public advocate can be a tugboat steering a supertanker. Imagine the supertanker is City Hall. If a public advocate has the smarts and guts of a Dan Squadron, he can get, as happened in the past, as Dan mentioned, matching public funds, 3-1-1, keeping kids from tobacco, and more. So we have the perfect candidate in maybe the only race. This is Brooklyn's moment. I myself spent my first 3 years in Brooklyn. I've been wandering in the desert ever since. But I've come back because of Dan, because my son Jonah lives 2 blocks away. Jonah, give everybody a say. I hired his son to claim my Brooklyn roots.
Good beard, Jonah.
He's the real deal. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. once said, the way the inevitable came to pass was effort. The effort of Dan, the effort of his team, the effort of the people on this stage will and should make him the next public advocate. And so allow me this one chant. I'm going to say the progressive advocate, and you're all going to say for all, because you represent all. The progressive advocate for all. Progressive advocate for all. Progressive advocate for all. He'll win.
Excellent.